Hello, and welcome Moving Mountains homeowners to the first episode of Behind the Wow podcast. Many of you know I'm Christine Izard. I'm your homeowner relations manager. I decided to start this podcast because I wanted to connect our homeowners with our team members that truly make the wow happen every day. Our mission at Moving Mountains is to create memorable vacations in exceptional mountain homes. And one of the core values is to deliver wow whenever possible. Thus the name Behind the Wow. I'm so excited to have our CEO and co-founder, Robin Craigen, here today as our first guest. Robin, thank you so much for taking the time to join me.
Hey, Christine, and hey, everybody. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the opportunity to connect today. We always welcome the opportunity to be in touch with our homeowners. We see this so much as a partnership between your homes and our hospitality. And we know that together, it's how we create something truly special in the world of luxury vacation rentals.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I wanted to start with the big news of the summer, and that is our new partnership with StayTerra. I know you and Heather have been working on this business. You've been doing this for almost 30 years. You guys have built something really, really special. What made you decide that this was the time to kind of bring in another partner?
Thank you, Christine. It's been a journey, and Heather and I have worked at this building and growing this incredible team by ourselves for so long. We come to the point where we had grown sufficiently large to realize that the next ideas that we have were really going to challenge us even further, and really to execute on that without feeling like we might go backwards in terms of the service level we wanted to offer. We had been looking for a while for a true investment partner, somebody that would understand our business, understand our culture, see the value in what we've created, and really provide us with the resources and the tools and what we need to take it to the next level. So that was what spurred our search, and ultimately that's what led us to Garnet Station Partners and StayTerra, their client-facing brand.
Yeah, and I know that you guys took a lot of time actually and interviewed several different companies, trying to find the right partner. So what was it about StayTerra that really kind of struck you guys that really kind of felt like the right direction to go?
Yeah, it's an interesting time. There are several companies that are looking to invest into the vacation rental market. So it took us a while to really understand what was being offered, what was similar, what was truly different about each of the investment groups out there. There's many smart people looking at this industry, looking at what we've all created. And for us, it was aligning on people that really understood the culture, really respected what we had created, and shared the vision about where we thought that Moving Mountains could continue to grow, knowing that we didn't want to dilute or impact the services that we're currently offering. We have so many loyal customers that have stayed with us over the years, who are coming back every year looking for new experiences and new homes. And we're having great success bringing new homes into our portfolio. And just as we have found success growing from Steamboat into the Vail Valley and now into Breckenridge, it was a question of making sure that when we make that next move, if we can find another opportunity, that we would have the right resources around us. As well as wanting to really lean in and develop, help us develop the existing business to perform at a higher level.
Yeah, and I definitely noticed in meeting, some of the team members with StayTerra, they definitely have the same excitement that I've always felt from Moving Mountains, regarding the quality of our homes, regarding the quality of our service, and that really they do feel like, such a great partner and the right direction to go. And that they actually are really learning a lot from what we're doing, which always feels good, that, you're doing something right when you partner with somebody and they're like, hey, that's a great idea. I want to do that in other places.
I agree. I think it's, you always worry what's going to change. And I think one of the things that they were very clear with us that they did not want to change was to make changes to the team, to the way that we're doing everything. They are bringing other similar strong companies from the industry together in this investment outreach that they're doing. And we're excited to see just how much we're able to offer to those companies. So collectively, we can build a powerhouse within the industry. That's allowing us to invest in things that you typically don't see much on the surface, tools to do with data management, our customer relationships management, a database, our accounting structure and reporting structure. These are all behind the scenes tools that help us have more information as our business begins to move faster, being able to see the trends and make adjustments. That, at the end of the day, is what will enable us to deliver better results to the customer, better results to our owner, to our homeowners, and we're still aiming to provide that exceptional level of service to the guests that we've become known for.
Yeah, and I love that they didn't want to come in and start from scratch. They really like what we're doing. They've kept our teams intact, which I think is so important. We talk about the things, that really talking about this podcast, delivering wow. We have teams and they love doing it and they're so great at it. So to be able to keep our local teams intact is really great news. Any changes on the horizon that you see? I so far can tell you, I think things have stayed pretty much the same for me and my relationship with the homeowners.
Yeah, I think on the surface, it's going to seem like initially not a lot is changing. What we're hoping we'll see, I do feel like we're starting to see some fruits of this, and we'll come to our market outlook towards the end of this conversation. But I really feel positive about the summer that we've had. The team is delivering at an exceptional level, continuing to hit those great survey scores. We're getting a lot of great reviews for the business. All of that is the kind of thing that helps you get through the ups and downs of the market. And the most important thing is that on the outside, I really don't think that too many people would notice a change in what it is that we're doing. We're still moving the mountains.
Yes. And I always try to remind myself that change is always scary for everyone, but it can be really exciting too. And I think that, everything that I've seen and heard from StayTerra, I've been more excited about it than scared. So excited to see, how things move forward in the future.
That's great.
So the second thing I wanted to kind of chat with you about, I think is really important right now, is the regulations for our short-term rentals for STRs. We've seen so many things happen in all of our different mountain markets, communities kind of rallying around this idea that there's too many STRs and how do we start to control them? I think that has now morphed into a little bit of how do we make more money off of them? If they're going to make all this money, we want to make money too. We've seen in Breckenridge, the limitation on the number of licenses. We've seen Steamboat fighting against a vacancy tax. Katie Bell and I went down to the Capitol last year and fought against a bill, SB 33, which we were really successful in. What do you see coming from all of this, and what can we do, moving forward?
Well, for me, the big takeaway with where we are in regulations is that we really cannot avoid this. We can't put our head in the sand and pretend it won't happen to us. I was really impressed with your and Katie's efforts as part of a collective effort by what was the Colorado Lodging and Resort Association, CLARA, which has now morphed into COSTRA. It really underlined the value and the importance of advocacy and of collective effort. It's by unifying not just within the communities that we operate in, but within communities across the Colorado markets. Part of where some of these regulations has come from is from a lack of understanding about the value of vacation rentals. I mean, we drive tremendous tourism benefits, sales tax, lodging taxes, economic benefit that is ultimately the lifeblood of a ski resort community. And that is primarily where we're operating right now. It's really surprising to us that we had to defend our position in the way that we did. But if you're organized and if you're smart about how you do that, if you're willing to spend the money and put in the time as you all did, then that's how you can create that understanding that when you can demonstrate that would be damaging to the economy, that would be damaging to jobs and businesses, then that's how you can find a balance. So we are at the point of we're definitely in this up to our arms. We do need more support from the homeowners. We do understand that you're located far away. Many of you are located far away from the mountains, but your dollars can be put to work. Your letters can certainly be supportive. It is a time where showing that there is, when we need to oppose something, that there is a larger voice is super important. It cannot just be limited to the property managers who could be portrayed as having a self-interest, instead of saying, hey, we're here to support not only our position in the industry, but we are the lifeblood of some of these communities. So it's definitely a time to encourage people to be more involved and more organized.
Yeah, and I was really excited to see, so I'm just going to repeat it because I think it's important for everyone to know. Clara is now Costra, so it was Clara before, now it's COSTRA. They really were instrumental in putting together the day at the Capitol, and it was amazing how many people we had. I mean, it was a very organized effort, that to the point where we even had other lobbyists that were at the Capitol that day coming to us and saying, you guys made a difference today. Like, you guys really did this. And it was such a great experience for me. I had never been a part of anything like that. And you really walked away at the end of the day feeling like, wow, my voice really does matter and I can make a difference. So I really think that any way that our homeowners can get involved in the process, any kind of support that you can provide. I did want to mention quickly, there is an event happening at the Capitol. And I am going to look at my notes to make sure I have all of the important information. It is November 15th. It is the Colorado STR Summit. It's an annual gathering of our state's short-term rental community. So whether you're a host, a property manager, a realtor, an investor, this is where we're going to connect. And this is where the collaboration is going to start and really become, advocates, because I know that you and I have talked about, if something happens in one market, it's going to happen in the other markets. So even though if you think, I don't have a home in Steamboat, this isn't important to me, trust me, it is, because we see things that happen in one market and then other markets are like, oh, well, we're going to try to do that too. So I think really driving that point.
That has been the case. I mean, we're seeing examples of it happening right now, that other communities have looked at the heavy 9% STR tax that was imposed in Steamboat. And those conversations are happening all over the state now. People saying, what was the benefit? What was the impact? Should we do something like this? Can we really tax at that level and still sustain the level of tourism? Because we all know that that's a significant level of additional taxation. I mean, guests are spending over 20% now in tax, and that is deterring some guests from coming to Steamboat. So right now, other communities actually benefit from that, because at least we can refer somebody that's pushing back on price to look at another community where the taxes are not so high. But in general, our feeling is that everything should be in moderation. That taxes at a reasonable level to address reasonable impacts. That should all be managed. It has to be done in a responsible way, and we can't do that without being a collective voice across the industry.
Absolutely. And I think there is a place for some regulation on STRs, right? I mean, we saw, the huge things that happened during COVID in our smaller towns, and the number of visitors that we had, and the impact that had. So I think there's a room for regulation, but it seems like right now the things that are being presented don't really have a basis to them, and don't really have sort of the meat behind them where you see the benefit across the board. All we're seeing right now is, hey, this is a way we can make more money and we can just put this in place. So I think that's where
I
we
think that is a concern. I mean, I do think that some regulations have led to people thinking, here's a bottomless pit of revenue, and these are people we can tax without representation. Yeah, it's important for us to have a unified voice, to be shown as something good within a community. Every community needs economic activity. We have always tried to do this responsibly and the right way, to really be respectful of neighborhoods, to not to be an industry that is a nuisance, that it's going to degrade the quality of life for the people that live there. Each of us are very embedded in the communities that we live in. But behind that, it's important to shout loudly that we provide these jobs and these tremendous economic benefits that really are the lifeblood of these communities.
Really. And I think it starts with us and then trickles down to the rest of the community. I mean, if people don't have places to stay, then the restaurants aren't as full, the shops aren't as full. And I think it's really, really important that we stand our ground and that we continue to fight the good fight.
100%.
So the third topic I wanted to jump into is probably the one that most owners want to hear about, is what we're looking at, market outlook. I know, and I think most of our owners know that in all of our mountain markets, our summer was definitely a little bit softer than it's been. The good news in that is Moving Mountains was pretty flat year over year, compared to our markets being down, anywhere from 5, 10, 15% down. Looking forward, winter's looking strong. What are you kind of seeing in your crystal ball moving forward? With the current everything that's going on, we have a government shutdown right now. We have many world events that are happening. In digging into your experience and kind of looking into the future through your eyes, what are you seeing for us?
Well, that probably is some of the benefit of having done this for nearly 3 decades is we have seen all kinds of ups and downs, and I'm not loving where we are right now. Government shutdown isn't my favorite thing. And there is definitely a level of economic uncertainty out there. But what I do notice and what really gives me good comfort, allows me to sleep at night, is seeing that we're actually pacing very strong on reservations right now for winter. There is definitely a feeling out there that people are excited to book their winter stays. We've seen really good, strong, even booking pace since August. Homes are filling up much as we have seen in the past. And as you said, summer wasn't everything that we wanted it to be, but we felt pretty good when we look back and see that, we were slightly off pace, but in most markets, we had a decent number of reservations and certainly outpacing the market. That's every indication is that it's that loyalty that guests that we've created with guests that have had good experience in the past, that have gone home, told their friends about their times with Moving Mountains, staying in these amazing homes, and said, if you're going to go back to these mountain towns, if you're going to Breck, if you're going to Vail, if you're going to Steamboat, then look for Moving Mountains. And we do, that's something that I think we've enjoyed from very early on. It's a very good feeling when somebody calls and they will tell you that they've been told that this is the company to stay with. Of course, then they come in with such great expectations. So then you try to meet or exceed those expectations. It's a really wonderful thing when they leave and go home and you read the review or the survey that they sent us afterwards telling us what a great time they had. So when the team continues to do that over and over, then that is a safeguard that I feel we're building into every up and down that the market can throw at us.
Yeah, and I think that's really the difference in Moving Mountains compared to other property managers is that, our goal is to really provide the experience for the guest. And it's not so much about what is the best deal that we can put out there, but how can we make your vacation, so special to the point where you want to go home and tell all of your friends, you need to go and stay in one of these homes. I think it's really important, touching on summer a little bit. We know our summer guest is definitely a little bit different than our winter guest. I think, the summer guest is, a lot of drive market guests, people that maybe have, a little bit more of a strict budget when it comes to their travel vacations and things like that. I think that's where we're seeing such a big difference in winter and seeing the pace ahead. I know that you have talked before, and sometimes I hate to say the word recession proof, but because we are in that luxury segment, how do you think that sort of helps us, when we're battling against times where there is that consumer uncertainty?
Well, it's never been our aim to be the cheapest in the market, but how I feel that we overcome when demand is falling and you're trying to compete for every last reservation is you want to stress the value of the services that you're offering. It takes a little bit more time to persuade people that they're not just booking a unit. It's actually everything else that comes with the stay that makes the difference with our team. So we do know that the consumer, the average person out there looking to book a stay, does do their homework, does read reviews. And at the end of the day, it's things like photography and descriptions and every little piece. I feel like this is something that we, because of our time in the industry, this is something that we probably have figured out better than anyone else. Is the team is just doing every single thing right that they could be doing. So booking a reservation is sort of the last step in the process. Selling the dream, reassuring people, building that trust in the marketplace. These are expensive vacations. And also, one of the things not to understate here is just the value of people's time. When people decide that they're going to come and stay with you, I think getting our team on board with this is really a leap of faith. We don't want it to be total blind, leap off the cliff, book a vacation rental. It should be some place of certainty. So our focus on building trust in the marketplace, our focus on things like safety, that are things you don't necessarily see out in front. Those are the things that are differentiating us from the competition, turning it away from booking a unit at the lowest price on Airbnb to booking with a professional management company backed by a team that is very passionate about delivering hospitality. I mean, I can talk about it for hours, but I think you read the reviews and the surveys, and you're like, it actually does work out the way we hope.
Yeah, and I also think, and I can tell you, I think I was probably your biggest skeptic when Moving Mountains came into Breckenridge about those purple shuttles. I thought, man, this is going to be something we're going to offer our guests, and it's going to end up being a disappointment. But boy, was I ever wrong. I think it is so fun to see all of the comments that we get about the shuttles and about that service. It truly makes someone's vacation so much better. They don't have to worry about getting the kids to ski school in time. They don't have to worry about, I want to go downtown and I'm not going to find a parking place and it's a snowstorm. I think it's something that's so cool that truly makes us stand out in all of our markets. And is really, really, it's great to be able to offer. And not only, and I'll let you talk, I know, I just love hearing from people that want to be in our portfolio because they've seen our shuttles. Hey, how do we get to be part of Moving Mountains? So I always love to mention that because I do think it's such a standout feature.
It is. It's like the magic piece of the puzzle that we figured out to provide that next level of service. You would think from some of the comments and reviews that we received that we're more in the shuttle business than the lodging business, because we also train our drivers to be the eyes and the ears of the business. So it's not just getting you from A to B, but somebody who's actually checking in with you, asking how your stay is. Our drivers are trained to listen and look for every last thing that we can do to deliver the wow. And, they bring those suggestions and thoughts home. Either the guests are happy or there's, a squeaky door in a bathroom. Something really small can make the biggest impact to a guest in terms of this company is really listening for everything. So, yeah, it's exciting to see how well that's been received. We felt like we proved the concept in Steamboat, and it was exciting to roll it out in Breckenridge and realize that it could be such a differentiator. Many homeowners have joined because of that specific program. We're just waiting for the competition to copy us, and so far I don't think anybody's managed to emulate that.
No, I don't think so. And I want to say it here again, homeowners, please use the shuttle when you're here. Yeah. We want you to be able to enjoy the service as much as our guests do, and really kind of take advantage of that. So we love to have that. So I think, talking about all the things that we do and what Moving Mountains does right, and really, I think that's why we're pacing ahead, and we see ourselves pacing ahead of the market in all of our data. I know that you just got back from VRMA, the Vacation Rental Manager Association has their big conference every year. I was lucky enough to go a couple years ago, and I think the big thing I took away from it is, wow, we are really doing it better than everybody else. Like, how much is there for us to learn here, because we are really leading the pack. And I was excited to see that, our team members are leading sessions at VRMA and teaching other people. Do you have any big takeaways from this year?
No, that fills my heart too, to see members of our team up on stage talking about our culture, talking about some of the really cool things that we figured out to deliver a service that people would tell us, you're right at the top of the pile. You're showing us the way to go. So it's very fulfilling to kind of go to a conference like that and be able to give back, to share some of that insight. We are looking to make the whole industry better. But very, very fulfilling to see our team on stage, for sure. As you said, this team is what's leading hospitality in this country.
Yeah, definitely delivering the wow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very exciting to see. Well, Robin, I think you and I could probably talk about things for another, hour and a half, 2 hours, but I thank you so much for your time today. I'm so excited to kind of be starting this series of podcasts, and I think this was such a great way to kick it off and get it going. Looking forward to doing the same thing with some other members of our team. Definitely looking at topics like safety. I know you mentioned that earlier, such a huge topic for all of our homeowners, looking into marketing, looking into more operational stuff. But thank you so much for your time today. Excited for doing these more in the future. And homeowners, give us your feedback. Let us know what you want to hear, who you want to hear from, and we will continue with the series.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate the partnership and appreciate your time, the chance just to share a few things. We're going to keep these short and sweet, but hopefully there'll be more great content to come.
Awesome. Thanks again, Robin.
Thanks, Christine.